TalkPod has released a new version of their A36 handheld ham radio / GMRS radio, and we're going to take a look at it this time on Ham Radio Tube. So here's everything we get inside the box, and currently at the time of filming this is going for right around $50 on Amazon, and you get everything you need to operate this radio. Obviously you get the radio. We're going to get a nice big 3200 milliamp hour battery that is USB-C chargeable. It does not support USB-C PD, unfortunately, but at least we have the USB-C charging capabilities. We also get a charging dock here if you want to just set this on your desk and charge it that way. We're going to get a nice antenna rated for 136 to 174 and 400 to 470. We get our handy belt clip here that just slides right into the battery compartment there. We get a nice handsome wrist strap. It does come with a programming cable. It also comes with a USB-A to USB-C charging cable, and you get a little wall wart here to charge via USB-C like such. And we get kind of a small user's manual. I would say this is more of a quick start manual than a full manual, though they do have a more in-depth manual that is available for download on their website. Now, some of the new features on the new 8-watt version versus the 5-watt version, obviously we have a bigger battery. The previous version only had a 1500 milliamp hour battery, so we're gonna get a lot longer runtime. Obviously 8 watts versus 5 watts, which isn't a huge deal, but hey, I'll take more power when I can get it. The new A36 Plus 8-watt also supports 999 channels versus 512 from the 5-watt version. And another feature on this that's really cool, we have an integrated S meter. So watch this here. I'm going to key up with this other TalkPod. When I key up, notice it says S9 plus 60 there above the RSSI meter, which might be a little hard to see because it's red. I wish it wasn't red, but it is. And if we move away, because I'm right next to it, let's just take the antenna off here and I'll key up, and we can see now we're at S9 plus 40. So that signal strength meter actually works. It will show you the actual received signal strength from another radio, which is a really cool thing to have. We also feature a more stable, clean transmitter from the new 8-watt A36. There was a lot of issues with the previous models. My 5-watt version was clean. I've tested it on a spectrum analyzer. It doesn't put out any spurious emissions, but we're gonna check to see if the new A36 Plus is also clean on transmit as well. Now, if we take a look at the box, it says GMRS, but it also says VHF, UHF, FM, and airband. This radio does support VHF and UHF ham radio bands as well as GMRS, and it does come locked to GMRS, but if you want to unlock it, all you have to do is hold down the PTT and hold down the number 8 button while turning it on. Keep it held, and now you see how it says expand. There's also one other thing you can do. You can hold down PTT along with the 9 button, turn it on, keep them held, and now we get super mode. Now, I honestly can't tell you the difference between either one. I've just left it on expanded mode, and I've been able to transmit on ham and GMRS, so your mileage may vary, but it's worked for me on the ham radio bands. Here we can see 14652. I'm keying up, it's working. We can go to one of the, just say GMRS frequencies, 465. We're transmitting there as well. This also features FM radio, and you have 2 programmable side keys that you can basically change to whatever function you want. And I've changed my side button here. If we push that, notice there we have FM radio. And we also have, if we go down to 134,800, is one of the air frequencies around here. You notice we're in AM, so we can monitor the AM air signals coming in on this radio. We also have a third programmable button on top here as well. So if you want to have one for your second PTT, another one for radio, another one for NOAA, you can do that. And you can also program them to long press. So I have long press, we'll open the squelch here, and you can program it for power or NOAA or all kinds of different functions. So you can get a lot of versatility out of these programmable buttons on here. Now the new TalkPod A36Plus is advertised as an 8-watt radio. I did test this on my meter on both VHF and UHF, and I found I was getting about 7.5 watts on both bands, which is actually kind of surprising because usually with most Chinese radios, I think this is the first, every other Chinese radio handheld that I've had, the 70 centimeter band transmitted a lot less power than the VHF band, and this one is pretty much the same darn thing. So that's pretty nice to have roughly 7.5, 8 watts on both VHF and UHF. I think that's pretty cool. Now taking a quick walk around the radio, on the front we've got our speaker here. Our microphone is in the top right. We're presented with a nice color screen. We've got our menu / VFO memory button here. We've got our back button, our up, down, and we have our number keys, which also function as letter and DTMF. We've got our AB to cycle between the A and the B band. We've got a lock button here. If we long press that, we can lock so none of the buttons work in case you accidentally bump something there. On the left, we have our PTT along with the 2 programmable keys that we mentioned earlier. Up top, we have our on/off / volume button. You have a receive transmit light. So when you're transmitting, it's red. When you're receiving, it's green. We have our programmable button on top. We also have our antenna connection, which is an SMA male. On the right-hand side, we're presented with our Kenwood style plug for microphones and programming. And taking a look under the hood, we can see that this is model A36Plus-M13B UV3, which is different than the old one, which is M12. So they are completely different radios. Taking a look through the menus, we just hit this green button here at the top left. That's going to bring us into our menus, which is going to give us everything we need to program and use this radio, all your DCS and CTCSS tones, your frequency offset, your shift direction, your VFO step. You can save memory channels. You can also name the channels from the keypad on here, which is a really nice feature that a lot of radios of this caliber don't have. We also have a dual receiver, dual monitor function. There aren't 2 receivers in here, but this TDR is, I just say, transmit, dual receive. If we turn that on and hit exit, notice we have that DS up there. So this is going to listen on both frequencies here, both VFOs A and B. If it hears something on B, it'll pick up that. If it hears something on A, it'll pick that up. Menu 37 starts where we can program our side programmable keys. So PF2, we can hit the menu button and we can change this to transmit power, radio, PTTB, so it can be a second PTT if you prefer that. I will have mine on transmit power, hit menu again to confirm. Let's go up one menu here. We can long press the PF2 button, and I've selected NOAA, so basically we see this H right here. If I short press it, now I'm cycling between the power levels, but if I long press this, now it brings us into the NOAA weather frequencies, so I can have those at the push of a button. And you can do the same thing for the third button down there as well. And you've got all kinds of other functions in here that I'm not going to go over, but very well thought out menu, very easy to program by hand. So let's say I want to program a repeater. I'm in VFO mode. Let's say I want 146860. Whoops. Okay. Then I'm going to go into menu. Let's start at 0. I'm going to go, this repeater has a transmit DCS tone of 631. So we can just go and find 631. There it is. Hit the menu button again. Then we're going to go up to where we get our offset. Change that to 0006 because we have a 0.6 megahertz offset. Then we can change our shift direction, which is a minus in this case. And now we just programmed that repeater. But wait, there's more. Now let's say I want to save that into a memory channel. So all these memory channels that have CH next to them are already taken up. They're already reserved for something. So we can either overwrite those or find a new clear memory frequency. So I'm going to go to 999, hit the menu button, and now that's saved to channel 999. If we go out, go back into VFO mode, you can see we have no name. But if we go back into the menu, here is where we can edit the channel name. So here we see ABC in lowercase. If we hit the FM button down here, we can cycle between uppercase, numbers, and lowercase. and we can name our channel. So I'll just call this HVILLE. Hit the menu button, and now we just named it Huntsville. Just like that, very, very easy. Now, another thing about programming, with the included programming cable, this radio is supported with Chirp Next. So all you have to do is plug in the cable, select the correct driver or cable rather, select the radio, download it from the radio, then you can program all of your frequencies and offsets and names and everything in, upload it to the radio, and you are done. If you're interested in learning how to use Chirp, I'll put a link right here where I've done a full walkthrough on how to use Chirp. It's an amazing software and makes programming these radios a whole heck of a lot easier. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for. They said this was a more stable, spectrally pure radio, so we are going to test that. I have a 10 watt 40 dB attenuator connected to the TalkPod going into the Tiny SA. Everything is calibrated and set up. This blue line right here, we don't want to see any spurious emissions or any harmonics above that blue line. So let's go ahead and key up. I'm on 14652. We are on high power, which is 7.5 watts. So let's key up and see what we get. And now that everything's settled down, we can see our fundamental is at 35.1 dBm, and this third harmonic here is at minus 50.6 dB. It's kind of just above that line. It's a little hard to tell looking at the bottom of the indicator for the 3. I'm gonna call this a maybe. It does look like it's peaking just a touch over that line. So I'm gonna let you decide on that. I kind of think this is right on the line, although it does look a little bit higher, so it doesn't quite look like it passes the spectral purity test, unlike the 5 watt TalkPod that I had that didn't have any spurious emissions at all. So I think they've still got some cleaning to do of their transmitter, but it is a marked improvement from a lot of the really bad transmitters that I've seen from my YouTube colleagues on this radio. So that is my review of the new TalkPod A36Plus 8 watt version. If you're interested in picking one of these up, I will leave a link to this in my Amazon store underneath radios, and you can get either the green, black, or clear, all for yourself. My name is Mike K at MRD. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Tube 73.